Welcome to Overcomers International Fellowship. We are a bridge to the future for men that are struggling with all sorts of different issues, physical issues, mental health issues, traumatic brain injuries. They might be struggling with corrections issues, housing issues. And we are a licensed board and lodge facility in St.Cloud. We have 42 residents. We also have a facility in Wilmer, Minnesota. We call that our Timothy and Matthew House, where we house 12 guys, 2 houses side by side. And we help all of our residents to bridge the gap, to get over all of the different deep things that are in their life, and so that they can return back into the community and back into society. We help them with their med management. Well, first of all, safe, sober housing and stable housing, and that housing is funded by group residential housing through GRH. We have 25 beds here in St. Cloud. And then we also provide some transitional housing for people that have got an income and rep payee services in place and are going to school or they're transitioning back into the community. Then we also have a 5-bed unit for the Department of Corrections Intensive Supervised Release. So we work with the men, we mentor them, we help them get back into the community by going through all of their aftercare programs. They might have through probation or civil commits or through their case managers. They're supposed to be doing some aftercare programming. And so we help arrange, we give them rides back and forth in the community, make sure they attend those groups and bring them back. We do the med management. We help them open up other doors of resources for education. We have usually 2 or 3 of our guys that are going to the VOTEC college or to the regular college here in St. Cloud. Also, we usually have about 1 in 7 of our men that come through here don't have a GED, so we get them out to the GED programs that are available in the community, and then plus we have our own GED classroom here at the Dream Center, so that they can achieve that to get that education. We also work with all of the different service learning programs that are in the community. We work with St. Cloud State. We usually have some interns through criminal justice or through mental health or one of the other programs that are available. And we also work with St. Ben's and St. John's and their service learning students. And sometimes we'll have an intern from there or some of the other community colleges like Rasmussen or St. Cloud School of Business, and then also the VOTEC. We also work with the medical professional students at St. Cloud State and so many other student organizations that come alongside our men and help them and navigate through the complicated reentry services that they have to go through. And we're just excited about helping these guys and seeing them make a turn as we create this bridge for them from where they were at and into their future. So we're seeing some great success. We've been doing this since 1995. We did homeless shelter stuff for 11 years, and then for the past 7 years we've been working as a licensed board and lodge and providing those services. So we're excited about you coming to volunteer here. You've got some volunteer paperwork that you had to fill out and sign, and then watch this informative video on exactly what we do here at the Dream Center.
OIF Dream Center, this is Mike. How can I help you? Oh, okay. Let me take a message. I don't see him here right now. Okay, and how do you spell that last name? Okay, and the date is October 1st, and the time is 10 minutes after 1. Okay, and does he have your phone number? He does. That's great. Well, I'll write his name on it, make sure he gets this message, and I'll have him give you a call back, okay? Thank you very much. Have a good day. Bye-bye. Hi, my name is Mike. I volunteer my time by answering the phones and doing receptionist kind of thing. And so one of the duties here, I confirm appointments in the book right here, and take messages from people and look around. If I happen to see them, then I can give them the message directly, and make sure that people get their messages. And because you never know, I'll write a note and write their name on it and stick it right up here on this little guy, and that way I can make sure that they get it.
Overcomers International Fellowship Dream Center in St. Cloud here, we house 42 residents in a 4-building complex. In our main building is 529 16th Avenue North. We call that the Dream Center building over there. And that's where we have our main offices, our administration. We do most of our programming over there. And we house many of the younger men there. All of the rooms are upstairs. There's 14 rooms up there. And then we have the hospitality house that's right behind me here, where we have 7 units of all people with mobility issues. They might have had back injuries, knee replacements, different chronic lung problems, different things like that. They can't do any steps. So we house them in our bottom floor. That's all GRH housing. And then upstairs in the hospitality house here, we split the upstairs into our Department of Corrections contract with the intensive supervised release program. We have 5 beds there. And then we have our transitional housing. We have another 5-bed unit there that those guys are self-pay. Most of them are on Social Security and have rep payee services. And they're usually going to school or they're working part-time, plus really working a program of action, staying sober, and have been with us quite a while and have really proved themselves. And they'll be transitioning from there out into permanent housing. So we have one of the other housing units that we have. We try to do specific housing. We have the young people at the Dream Center, hospitality house. We have mobility issues, transitional housing, Department of Corrections. And then we have a housing unit we call the Caleb House, and that's right behind me here. That's a 6-bedroom unit, and that's set up for the people that have chronic and persistent mental illness. Most of them have schizophrenia and are going to be needing services for a long time. And it's a nice quiet place for them to be. Most of them have social workers and work with their arms workers and work with the other mental health professionals in the community. And it's a very wonderful, stable program for them to be in and for them to become successful. Usually they're going to be there for a pretty long time until they get an arms worker, and then we eventually find them some supportive housing out in the community. We just added one more housing unit into our resources here in St. Cloud, and this is the new Joshua House we just opened in last July on our 18th anniversary. And the Joshua House is set up as a 4-bedroom unit. We're looking to have adult foster care in there for a specific population for traumatic brain injury. There seems to be such a real need for those services and for that specific population that have been struggling for years with either undiagnosed TBI, and now they're getting the services they need, and we can provide the resources and the staffing and getting them out to programming and working with all of the other mental health and the TBI specialists in the community. So we're really excited about our new Joshua House. This is a typical room that's at the Dream Center. All of our residents, we really truly believe in single room occupancy. We feel it's healthier for them. We provide the TV. They have expanded basic cable. They have their own key. We do room searches and shakedowns at least once a week, and we do test for drugs and alcohol. And it's about the size of a dorm room. It's a single bed dresser, but it's their privacy, it's their place to be, and we feel it's much more healthy than the double bunking and all of the other dormitorial facilities and different things like that. And the guys do very, very well in an individual room that they can temporarily call it their home. One of the services that we provide with our board and lodge services is med management. We have our nurse comes in and fills up and reorders all of the meds. We advocate for our guys to make sure that they're following through with all of their medical and mental health needs and all of their other treatments. They might be going to anger management, domestic abuse. They might be going to CD programming and aftercare programming. But one of the critical things is to keep them on their medication so they're making the right decisions. So we really spend a lot of time and effort into advocating to make sure that they're getting to their appointments. We transport them back and forth, and then our nurse sets up all of the meds, and then the caregivers give out the meds and record them and log all of those, all of their different medications to make sure that they are being med compliant. And we know that works the best for all of our residents. So it's a vital service that we're providing through the med management, and we pick up the meds. We take care of all of the co-pays if they have any, to make sure that they stay on their meds, and it's been very, very helpful and successful for our guys to complete that. One of the other services we provide are meals, 3 meals a day. We have a breakfast, lunch, and noon. And out of these stoves and out of this kitchen, we have served over 750,000 meals over the past 18 years. We did the homeless shelter service and community meals for 11 years. Plus, we do outreaches and picnics and community meals for the different events and different holidays, and we have a great time serving that. It's one of the key things that we do is to provide that good, nutritious meal. And we don't have a cook here on staff. We have a kitchen manager, but we always need volunteers to help us out cooking. We have some of our cooks have been with us for 15 years, 17 years. They have a specific date and a specific day of the week that they come to cook, but we always have openings. We always have an opportunity for people to come and to serve and to help us cook. We're providing about 50 meals per 3 times a day here, and also in Wilmer, our cooks are there and providing those great meals too. We have our food pantry that we always need food donations, and we always in need of paper products, toilet paper, paper towels, coffee, canned goods, meats, anything that you would give. We always need those products to serve our guys here. And they're a bunch of great guys, and they need that love and help. We want to interview a few of our residents here about, the whole thing about being a volunteer or learning what we do at the Dream Center and it isn't about just serving food on a plate, but it's getting to know our residents and how they got here and where and how they are building their bridge to the future. And I'm really excited about interviewing Philip. Philip was here a few years ago. He was doing very, very well, and he was going to a full-time student at St.Cloud State. He was in recovery, and everything was on the right path with him, and then all of a sudden, things got derailed. And what happened to you then, Philip?
I had a relapse. I was in a relationship, and she decided to leave. And when she decided that, it kind of threw me into a depression. Now that I'm back, let's hope things go the other way. It's not hopeful, but I know things are going to go the other way now because I'm working on myself, medication. I'm in the right place. I get worship here. I got peers here, mentors. Pastor Michael is my personal mentor. And I'm around people with the same conditions as me. So.
And now we're transporting you out to what is some of your diagnosis that you're struggling with and you need prayer for?
Major depression disorder, antisocial behavior, and I also have a degenerative hip and knee disease, and I also have hepatitis C that I'm gonna start taking inferring treatment for.
Wonderful. And those are long-term conditions. And you have qualified for your Social Security disability.
Yes.
You have a rep payee now, so you're never going to be homeless again.
Right.
You're always going to have a base income, and you're involved with different aftercare programming that you're doing to instill some skills and hope and recovery in you. And we're just excited about your direction. But what does Phil want to dream to be in the future here? Where are you going to be in the future here, and how are you going to get there?
Well, I dream to be a social worker in the future because I see some of the patterns in me. I see it in other people and children, 16, 17. And I just want to give back. And how I want to do that is stay grounded in religion, stay grounded, not religion, but in worship, and stay grounded with my medication. That's important. And AA is important. And I'm also in treatment for chemical dependency, learning new ways to cognitive thinking and stuff like that and things like that. And just to be out in society again. Those things take time, and that's how I'm working toward it.
So now you've been a student before.
Yes.
And you did pretty well in school. Now, have you got a goal of going back to school?
Yes, I do. I have a goal of going back to school. That's a very important thing.
Amen.
I completed my GED, so I don't have to go to the Ability to Benefit program. I can show them my GED, which I'm proud of, and start from there.
Well, thank you very much, Phil, and God bless you.
God bless you too, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right.
Another one of our residents is Mike. And how long have you been with us, Mike?
Let's see, in 2 weeks it'll be 1 year.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it's taken that long to get all of the right services in place. But let's go back on your journey, because we're going a little bit back and how you went through this, and then where you want to go in the future. So your recovery journey started back.
About a year and a half ago, I hit the low of all lows, and I felt like I realized now that I had just turned away from God, and that the fact of the matter is I was lonesome, and I felt like He was leaving me alone, and I was being punished for something, where in reality it was me pushing Him away and not asking Him to be a part of my life. And so that's changed my thoughts and behaviors a lot. And I went through New Beginnings in Waverly, and from there they sent me for my aftercare at Passages in St.Cloud, and that brought me to the Dream Center here, and it's been a blessing.
And you've been working on, you've had some major physical problems too with your back and different things like that, and you're receiving ongoing treatment for that.
Right.
So explain a little bit about those conditions.
Well, I just got a new chiropractor just today up here in St. Cloud. My parents are moving back to Florida. They're, what do they call them?
Snowbirds.
Snowbirds, yeah, exactly. I forget the term.
Well, let's just stop right there. How is that relationship developed now and reestablished with your parents?
Oh, it's blossomed big time. My mom and dad had trust issues with me, and I know why. Because I wasn't very trustworthy. And they can tell This time around in my rehabilitation, they can tell that my actions have changed and not just talking to hear myself talk. And so, it's really been a blessing to be able to go fishing with my dad and know what our conversations are about, and and be blessed with fish on top of it.
Wonderful.
Yep.
Now you're still you've had this long problems with your back. You've got some major back issues, right?
Right. It's sciatic nerve. I have protrusion in between the L4 and L5. There's a bunch of things going on there, and there's like absolutely no cartilage in between the L4 and L5, and so they're trying all kinds of different things. And the chiropractor today made me feel good, and so I'm just trying to be of service as much as I can.
And you're working a program of action as far as recovery. Just explain that a little bit, the different groups, meetings, and.
Well, on let's see, I want to make sure I get my days straight. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, I go to AA meetings, and I go to the Alano Club over down on the east side of St. Cloud, and on Saturdays I come to the 6 o'clock AA meeting that we have right here, and that's been working really well. And then Thursdays I go to Billy Anderson for a therapist, and that kind of helps me keep my head screwed on straight.
And it takes maintenance of our spiritual condition, going to the meetings, being accountable, and you have a sponsor now too?
Yes, I do.
So somebody that you're accountable to your parents, you're accountable here with the curfews and all of the things that we do here to hold men accountable. So where is Mike going from here? Where do you see yourself?
Well, it's funny you asked that, because we had Hope Covenant last night come and do an ice cream social, and had sheets of paper out and asked for prayer requests. And my prayer request was to see what God's move was for me next. And so, it's one of them things that I feel it's my turn to give back, because all I've been doing is, prior to now, is I was just selfish and me, give me, what's for me. And so, it's, I do Bible studies on Wednesday night, and, and churches on Sunday. I won't be able to go with Mom and Dad on Sunday, but I'll be back in here for church every Sunday again.
And you're volunteering. You've been the volunteer of the month, 2 months in a row here, with your dedicated service and working the help desk there, and we deeply, deeply appreciate it. Well, God bless you, Mike, and we look forward to seeing you just continue to move forward.
Thank you very much.
Amen.
I appreciate it.
I want to introduce you to some of our staff members that we have. We have a 24-hour, 7 days a week staff at both locations, both in St. Cloud and Wilmer. And Henry has been with us for the past almost a year, probably.
No, it's been a year and a half.
Year and a half. And Henry really has a heart for the men. Our caregivers are there to help support, mentor, train, equip, and speak into our residents' lives and hold them accountable. And that's a very difficult thing. All of our men have, we try to break off the institutionalism. All of our men have chores and responsibilities and duties. And so we have a recovery community here. So everybody helps each other. Everybody tries to be supportive, and it's very, very difficult sometimes. And Henry, what have you observed with our men over the past year and a half?
Well, what I find with the men is usually they have backgrounds of either too much boundaryless lives, or lives without any direction or any real discipline as they grew up, and therefore they need structure really badly, but loving structure. Or I find the case with the men where they have a had some terrible forms of abuse when they grew up or rejection. And in one case, you need to give loving boundaries. In the other case, you just need to give them so much love that they can get back to trust, because they don't have trust issues, normal ability to trust. So they're medicating their pain and their failures because they don't have any trust in authority, because their original authorities failed them. So I just see my ministry more as a role of loving them and loving them again, because I believe the scripture, love never fails, is true. And as you keep loving them, eventually trust is gained and truth comes forth. And until you have trust, you can't speak truth into their lives. So for me, it's always trying to love on the guys. And then I also like to, as you know, share Jesus. That's my main thing, because I feel I'm a missionary here. I was a missionary in YWAM before here, and God basically directed me to those who are homeless and those who come out of incarceration. And a lot of them don't have a good vertical. They have horizontal relationships that are bad, and they have no vertical. They have no relationship to God. And they all know about God, but they don't know God. And so I try to always share the Lord, and they say, enough, Henry, and I keep bringing it on to them. And I do it in a loving way, in a friendly manner, and with the hopes that they can bring God totally into their situation, because ultimately He's the ultimate physician of whatever ails them, from a broken spirit, from mental illness to addictions. God can break through all of those, and with the proper programs that we try to aim them towards that will help them. So that's how I see my role.
Working with the man is what is some of the biggest challenges that you thought, working in an environment like this, and what was some of your big surprises with the man and some of the challenges that they have that you didn't even think about, that they are just, they've got a lot of problems, a lot of issues, and a lot of boundaries with being in as far as with criminal justice. They're labeled as a convicted felon. It really limits their housing. It limits their ability for job and restoration and moving forward back into recovery, back into the community, back into decent, stable housing, back into an affordable or a job that they can support a family with. And it's multiple issues that our guys have to go through, and then they have those huge labels and challenges and things like that. But we also see the miracles, don't we?
Oh yeah.
Just one of the guys that has really touched you, and maybe one of their little stories that has really had an impact on your life that you've seen, they've just moved forward.
Okay, well, a couple things is when you said what I've seen, mostly the differences. What I didn't expect was the amount of intelligence. I mean, some of these guys are very, very intelligent, and yet they keep in these bad habits and these addictions. That was the first thing that struck me. And if you can keep them sober and keep them on the road of recovery, they are just excellent citizens, excellent people to go forward in a community. You'd want them. Then the other thing that amazed me was the fellows with the lower IQs and not having the ability to mentally negotiate, and they're kind of like left out there, and they're like preyed upon. They call them vulnerable adults, and it's a perfect word for them. And so that's just struck me most, the two opposites. And what I see is the need for great protection of the vulnerable adults, and which maybe will always be institutionalized. Like you wanted me to ask one of my favorite people, of course, Adrian, and one of these other types of what we would call predators was trying to get him back out on the street for whatever reason when this fellow needs a protection 24/7. And it amazed me, first of all, that somebody could be so mean to try to get somebody out of a place of protection, because he wouldn't last, 2 days, 3 days out there before he would land in jail for doing something foolish. And then with Adrian, it was funny. I connected with him because I'd come from Colorado. I'd lived out there for 10 years, and the minute I said Colorado, he said, "Oh, my sister lives out there." And he has these deep appreciations for his family. That's the other thing I know about Mike Schwartz. You know, they have these great, deep appreciations for their families. It is so strong in them, especially the ones that suffer from traumatic brain injury and those who suffer from just their minds not functioning as the rest of ours do. And so they have these emotional ties to their families that it hurts me more than anything if their families don't visit them more. And so we become their second family, and then we get really protective. And the most beautiful thing I like about Pastor's ministry here is here he's got TBI people and people who are vulnerable with people who come out of incarceration. And it's funny how many of these people that are supposed to be real bad ex-felons, how protective they get over some of these fellows who are vulnerable adults. And I really love to see that. So I think it's,
They get along, don't they?
not only get along, with the one start protecting the other. I mean, it's just neat. And that's what the only thing that really bothers me is the ex-felon, especially who turns that corner. I get so frustrated because it's hard for them to go forward because with that stain of a felony on their background, it holds them back. And there's such talent. One foolish mistake or being with the wrong person at the wrong time, or which I noticed and upset me, is there'll be a lot of marital discourse. And who knows who said what. If you wonder sometimes how these court cases play out. And then for the rest of their life, they're labeled a felon when somebody calls the police and says they hit me or they did this, and how do you know? And you have cases like that. I mean, you never know all the problems that can be out there and what transpired between two individuals in a family. Again, I feel our job is to redeem, heal, redeem, heal, redeem, heal. Love never fails, no love never fails. That's, I believe, the job of the ministry.
Thank you, Henry.